welcome back to Little Monkeys and Me. This is episode 13 and I am Fernanda. For those that don't know me, I live in North Carolina with my 3 kids, my husband, and our puppy Luna. And I come to you from our homeschool room where I homeschool my kids. Now, it's been a month, I believe, since I recorded last. And boy, it has been a crazy month. I feel like October flew by. I don't know about you, but all of a sudden it was like, oh man, I need to actually record it and I haven't. So today is Saturday, November 6th. Yes, November 6th. And I am recording this episode. I have lots to tell you. Lots of things happened. A really fast life update. I went to my cousin's baby shower, but I think I already told you that last time, maybe. I think the baby shower must have happened before. So she got her presents from last episode. The Shellography mystery knit along happened this whole month of October, which I took part of. If you haven't seen my last episode, I talked about the color choices that I chose and what I was gonna do. And today, the Shellography is done. It's just not, I haven't blocked it because I had to weave in ends and I did that last night. And I didn't want it to be completely wet for you guys. So I figured I'll show it to you. And then one day, I'm sure I'll wear it next time probably because it's getting cold, and then I'll show you what it looks blocked. But I figured I will show you what it looks like. What else happened? Halloween happened. We had a Spider-Man, a Queen Princess, and no, sorry, not Queen Princess, Queen Pirate, and Captain Hook kind of thing going for my kids. We did trunk or treat at our church and it was really fun. My kids did a piano recital. They get piano lessons from their grandma, my mother-in-law. She does piano lessons for them. They've been playing for, my oldest has been playing since he was 5, so about 6 years. And yeah, they're all getting piano lessons from her, and it's such a blessing. We love piano lessons and they really do enjoy it. I did lots of reading, not while I was doing Shellography because there was no way that I could read and knit because I had to pay attention to almost every section. I'll talk about all of those later. But I did do some sock knitting and some things that I was able to knit and read. So I will talk about the books later towards the end of the podcast if you are interested in books and to see what I'm reading. Just in case you do, well, I'll put it at the end. Another thing, we went to a local football game for high school. That was super fun. We had lots of fun in that. I did another mystery knit along, but this one was socks. And I went to quote unquote local yarn shop. It's about an hour and a half from me, but it was fun. So I will talk about that later when I talk about some of the acquisitions. Yeah, there's definitely some things that I forgot to show you last time. So let's move on and let's start our episode. If you are new here, welcome to my little corner of the internet. I hope that you enjoy your time here. I have been doing this for almost a year. It'll be a year in December, and it has been a blast. It is absolutely fun. I really, really enjoy podcasting and talking to you guys, making new friends. If you are a return viewer, welcome back. I am so happy to have you. Of course, I wouldn't do this, without you. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. And let's move on to our finished objects. Let's start with these socks for my mother-in-law. Now, I don't remember where I put the ball band. So I don't have the ball band with me, but I will put it here. I will find it and I will write it down and I'll tell you what colors these are. So when we did go to a local yarn shop with my mother-in-law, I don't know, a few months back, and she did find this colorway. Now, like I said, I'll put the color later. I'll write it for you. And this are from Opal. I know they're Opal, and they're self-striping. And these are for my mother-in-law. My mother-in-law has thinner legs, so I believe I did a 56 stitch count cuff. And I mean, like, yeah, for 20, just like always, 20 and then 60 and then 60 for the foot. I did a heel flap and gusset with a Eye of Partridge heel, which is my favorite. And look how nice they are. It's really pretty. My mother-in-law chose the color, and I told her choose a sock yarn and I'll make you some socks. And I believe I did this in 2.5 millimeters. I'm sure I did. And it's very neat, and they are blocked because I will give them to her. I don't block all my socks, but I do like how they feel blocked. I think they look so neat, and it looks so pretty. So these ones are ready for her. I don't have much to say other than these are vanilla socks. I figured what my mother-in-law needs for them to fit. She hasn't tried these on, but I have made another pair for her and they fit perfect. So I just followed kind of like that. I just wrote down what I was doing that first time, and then I was able to just do it again with this one. So I like opal yarn. It's nice and woolly, and they're very adorable. So these are for my mother-in-law. That's the first info. I got lots of reading done while I was making these. Next, I did another Mr. Knit Along. So Sophia Kammerborn from the Kammerbornia podcast, which I've mentioned before here. Sophia, she is Swedish, and she has a beautiful podcast. It is in Swedish, but it has English subtitles if you want to check it out. It is absolutely a joy to watch. I really enjoy it. Well, she was together with a friend who owns, I think, kind of like an opal retailer yarn, like opal yarn retailer, I think. They came up with an opal mystery knit along where Sophia came up with a sock pattern, and I believe it happened also through, it was the 4 weeks of October. So the first week you got the cuff and the leg, then the second week you got the heel flap and gusset and heel turn, then the third week you got the foot, maybe, and then the fourth week you got the toe. So not much mystery. It was just fun. I figured I wanted to have a sock going anyway, so I figured I would join it. It does have color work. So this was actually my first color work sock. I don't think I had done color work socks before. And here they are. So these are the socks. And if you have followed along, then you would know that here there was some color work, but I'll tell you what happened. And I decided not to do it for a few reasons. So I didn't want to buy any yarn for this. So I kind of looked at my really tiny stash of yarn, and even though I have some Sorella yarn that, I have leftovers, those are 100% superwash merino. They don't have any nylon in it. So I could only go, and I did not want to make colorwork socks, especially like the foot part and the heels and toes, with something that wasn't superwash, if I could help it. Obviously, if you just use them to stay home and you don't put them in shoes, then you can definitely do it without a superwash. Not superwash, without nylon. And you can do it, and they'll felt a little, and you can still do it. You do not have to have nylon to make socks. But I did kind of want these ones to wear with shoes. That was always kind of like the idea. So I was trying to look for colors that, some yarn that I did have. So I did have this one, and this one is from Wilberry yarn. So I do have Wilberry Fiber Co. There it is. And this is their berry sock base, which is an 80% superwash BFL, blue face Lister. That's what that stands for, and 20% nylon. So I knew that this one had nylon, so I knew I have to use this probably as You know, I could use it as my toes, as my heel. At the beginning, it wasn't going to be my foot. So let me tell you about it. I don't think I have almost any. This purpley pink, this one is from Gypsy Soul Fibers. And I love her. I think this is an 80/20 also. So it's very plump and very great. And this one is nylon. And I had leftover because I have made another pair of socks with this. So the whole idea was I was going to make that the background. Then I was going to do the heel and and this kind of like green teal color. And then I was going to go back to this purple and do the whole entire thing. And then the toe was going to be this color again. Well, so then it was going to be cuffs, heels, and toes were going to be this kind of greenish color. But then I was about here on one of the socks with the purple. And I ran out of yarn. No, I'm sorry. I had finished a whole entire sock. That's what it was. I had finished the sock. I hadn't done the toe yet because we hadn't gotten that clue. So I figured, okay, I'll just wait for the next week. So I finished one sock and then I moved on to the other. That's kind of how I did it. I did one clue and then I did the next clue for the next sock and I waited a whole week for the next clue. And then I went on the second sock and I got to about here and I lost a yarn chicken, which I don't even know why I kept going because I knew, but I was like, come on, maybe there's a miracle. Well, no miracle happened. So I had about, 15 rows to go before the toe and I ran out of yarn. So I had to choose whether I wanted to rip back the other sock and I could just do kind of a longer toe. Well, not longer toe, but like I could start the toe color earlier. And then once I got the toe, I could just do the toe however they gave me in the clue. Or I could rip back all the way to after the heel turn and just make it this color, which I think you know which one I chose. I just ripped back both socks. I went back all the way to the heel turn when you start to pick up stitches for the gusset. And that's when you decide, what color you're going to go. And I chose to go back to this one because I did have enough. And it's a stunning color. I absolutely love it. And I do love their yarn. It's so nice. So I just went ahead and did it like this. And I knew I was going to be happier with it. I don't love mismatched socks. I think at one point I will make maybe scrappy socks. And I'm trying to think whether I can handle having mismatched scrappy socks or I have to have at least enough so I can make matchy scrappy socks. Because I don't know. I don't know. It's not a big deal. I know. Lots of people are like, don't worry, just make them, they don't have to even match. And I was like, yeah, it's true. Thanks. But in my mind, I was like, they have to match. Weird things that we do. So yeah, and I love how they turn out. And the option was a one color sock, which really would be like a vanilla sock pretty much. A 2-color sock, which is what I did, or a 3-color sock. And I was thinking of doing 3 colors, but I didn't have anything that was contrasting enough that I liked. So I just went with this one and I really do love it. It's really, really good. And I have a teeny tiny bit actually of leftover of this one. Like I said, there was a little bit of color work here. And this is what happened. That night when I decided to rip back, so the next night, I just ripped back and I didn't touch him again because it's like, I need a break. And the next night, I just did the whole entire foot. And then I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and do the toe. I can't imagine that she's going to do that much difference. So I did the toe. I finished the Kitchener. Then I did, and then I started this one. I didn't finish and I got the clue. And I saw that there was like color work right here, right before the toe. And I was like, you know what? I'm not going to change it. I have the pattern. The pattern is mine. I can make another pair and I can have the little color work here on the toe I am not ripping back again. It's fine, and I love them. So these are, I haven't started November socks. I need to do that. So you will not see November socks, but I do have these ones. Oh wait, no, I do have November socks. They're just a test knit that I'm gonna show you when I go on my whips, and then you'll see them. So these are, what are they even called? I don't think they have an actual name. I think it's just the Opal Mystery Knit Along, maybe. And they're from Sophia Commonborn, and I love them. So now I can wear them now that I show them to you. Next is, I did 3 test knits for my beautiful friend Laura from Penrose Knits, or The Knitting Pickle, here on YouTube. And if you've heard me talk about Laura before, and she just came out yesterday. She came out with a collection of her school run hat, mittens, and a surprise headband that was kind of like a secret knit that we were doing. So let me tell you, which one did I do? I did all 3 of them, of course. This one, it's the school run hat. And this is with the option of doing it with pom-poms and with the decreases on the sides. So you kind of have 2 little points. There is an option of doing it just a normal hat, kind of like, and decreases all around. So then it can just be 1 point, and you can choose whether you put pom-poms or not. So this is actually for my daughter. She is 8 years old, and I did the child size. So it has baby, toddler, child, and then 3 adult sizes for all of them. And I want to say, is there a newborn? If I do, I'll write it down if I missed a size. So I did the child size because well, I measured her head and it fit, and this fits perfect. So this is actually done in a DK. I made the hat in a DK. You can do it. So this is a little like super, it's nice and thick, and it fits her perfect. So the way that these are done, you can either do it on DK like I did, or you can do it on fingering held double. So either one, you can do it. And when you do it fingering held double, I'll show you on the mittens. At one point you hold only one, and then for like the cuffs, you only hold it 1 strand, and then you hold the 2 strands for kind of like the body of the mittens. Let me tell you about the yarn that I used. So as I told you, I went to a semi-local, it's only about 1.5 hours from here. It's on, I think this one was in Chapel Hill, maybe? I can't remember. But it is my husband, story time. My husband is a huge board game geek, which I'm totally okay with. He loves board games. Like, we own, well, I say we, he owns, I wouldn't say 150 board games, and these are not Monopoly. Like, we're talking like board games, like Ticket to Ride is one of them, but those are like the ones that you can see sometimes at the stores. Like, some of these you don't know because it's a whole world, kind of like the knitting world's a whole world. Like, somebody can be like, oh yeah, I know yarn because I go to Hobby Lobby or Joann or Michael's, and then you're like, no, there's a whole world of yarn in knitting, like a whole entire world. So my husband wanted to go to a board game store that is about an hour and a half away. So we took kind of a day of it with the kids, and when we went, I was like, well, if we're gonna be out of town, I was like, might as well look if there is a yarn store close by. And there was one, and that was Warm and Fuzzy, and she was so nice. She has beautiful yarn. It was a beautiful store. The owner was actually there that day, and she was working on her shellography, and I had been working on mine on the way there, so I was in the car. So my husband ran to the car and brought it, and she wanted to see it, and we showed each other's progress, and we talked about it, and so she had really pretty yarn. So this is actually Life in the Long Grass. So this is Irish based dyer, which is great because I'm so glad that she has it, because it is so much harder for me to order it all the way from Ireland. So it's nice that there are places here in the US that they do have it. So this is their DK Tweed base. And so it's DK, and it has obviously Donegal, it's 50% Donegal and 85% superwash merino. So it's very soft, very nice, and I love a good tweed. I don't know if the color is true, you know, because I can't see what I am recording, but this is like, it is a pink, and it's kind of like antique pink. It's really pretty. It's actually called Antique, and it's beautiful. And my daughter, obviously, she loves pink. That's like her favorite color. And I have a teeny bit left, which I'm not really sure what's gonna happen with this. I don't think I have enough to make not even a newborn size of it, but I'll just go to my stash and it'll be used at some point, I'm sure. So that is this one. So that is the school run hat. And I don't really wear hats, so I am so glad that she made a headband, which I do wear, but not with my hair half down. So I'm not gonna put it on, I don't think. Well, maybe, let me try. Let's see if I can do it without completely messing up my hair. I have no idea what this looks like, so I don't know if it even looks good. Obviously it doesn't quite match my outfit, but it fits perfect, as you can see. This one is done with, don't have my leftovers here. Oh, I do actually, because I'm using one of them in another project. So I had a whole skein of this one. Ooh. This is the Sorella, the mojito color that they had this summer, and it's beautiful. And I had a matching mohair to go with this one that I used to make my daughter that shawl. Oh, what's the name of the shawl? Trionyx, maybe? I showed it maybe 2 episodes ago or last episode. And okay, I feel, I hope that's good. I'll show you what it looks like closer up. So I held this with the mohair, and it turned out to have a beautiful, now if mohair itches you a little bit, it doesn't bother me at all. So I don't mind it on my forehead and on my, my head, but if it does, then I would not use mohair if mohair is not something you can handle. Though I have to say, the mohair from Sorella, it's extremely soft. This is fluffy goodness soft, and it's this kind of like light blue. I mean, this color is gorgeous. I think it's so much fun, and it was a fun knit, quick knit. This is perfect for reading and knitting, because you make the picot, and that part is super easy, but everything else is stockinette. You do have to purl in this one because it is not done in the round, it is down flat, but it was a very easy knit and it fits perfect. So you can use it, you can use DK, you can use fingering held double, or like me, I used fingering with a mohair and I got gauge and it was fine. So you do have to seam, and I use the mattress stitch, and it is so neat. I love a good mattress stitch. To me, it is so satisfying to just go and then pull and just, oh, it is so satisfying. So I love it. My sister, I don't have a sister. My daughter, she was next to me while I was doing it, and she's like, "Mommy, what are you doing?" And I showed her, and she's like, "It's like magic." I'm like, exactly that. It is magic. So I love a good mattress stitch. And then are my daughter's mittens. So I made the child size for this one. The same colorways that I used for my headband. I actually made these first, and then I knew I had enough to make my headband the same color. And look how cute these are. These are gorgeous. You have the picot at the top and at the bottom, and then you don't here on the thumb, because that would be pretty, I think, fiddly. So not the thumb, but the thumb does have, you do turn it anyways. You turn it and you still sew it in, which is fine. It's totally easy. And these were quick and easy to make. Laura did a wonderful job. There were lots of wonderful testers who helped along, and in all reality, there weren't that many things that needed fixing. She did great, and I am so proud of her, and I'm so glad I got to test and help her out. And now we have these beautiful, 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 my daughter cannot wear them. I mean, she did wear these to church on last Sunday, but I was like, you need to be so careful because I need to show them in the podcast. And now she can wear them however she wants. And then I don't have enough of this, but I do have enough. I might have enough to hold it double to maybe make her a headband. I don't know, but she definitely loves the hat. The hat fits so well. I'll insert some pictures because I did take some pictures for Instagram, and I still have to take some pictures for myself with the headband. But yeah, these are the mittens, and these ones come, I want to say baby, child, toddler, child, and 3 adult sizes. Same with the headband. So it's great. You can match with your girls. You can make them for nieces, or if you have multiple girls and all different ages, they can all match, but just different colors. There's so many options. So those are already in Ravelry, and I'll put a link to all of them so you can go ahead and buy them. You can buy them separately, or you can buy them as a bundle. And I believe it's a pretty good price if you buy them, all 3 of them together. And I recommend all 3 patterns. Highly, highly recommend. So those are my finished objects. So let's go ahead and go to our shellography. Now, I am late to the game to record. So I have friends who have recorded, and they were recording as shellography was happening. So of course they said, if you don't want a spoiler, don't see it because I'm going to show it to you. Now, shellography ended last Friday. I finished it on Monday, the last clue. I was able to finish each clue before the next clue came out. So I was done by Monday. And I've been done, for 5 days. And I finally sewed in the ends, the border. Had a lot of ends that I hadn't sewn. So that one I did last night, hence why it's not blocked. And so if you don't want to see it because you're still not done, but at this point, my guess is that everyone has seen it, but I'm still giving you a warning just in case you still don't want to, or you're late in the game and you haven't started and you're just going on the first clue and you still don't want to see the rest. Whatever it is, I will put right here, or in the middle, I will put a timestamp where you can jump to if you don't want to. So that was your warning, and now I will show you. Now, remember, this is not blocked, so there are some parts that are going to look so much better once it's blocked, but I am in love. So I'm going to cover my face, and here it is. I am hoping that this is showing the shawl. All right, so let's talk about it. This was my first Stephen West pattern ever. My thing with Stephen West, I find him a genius. The way that he puts together his patterns, and you can see it even before you buy a pattern. You can tell that the construction is going to be interesting, or you can tell that it's going to be a bit different than something that you've made before. And it was so much fun. Now the thing is, it always kind of put me off at some of the colors choices that he has, and it was hard for me to see past those. And even though I do like putting colors together, and I like to think, a lot of the times it just didn't appeal to me at first glance. So, when you have thousands upon thousands of patterns that you can choose from, a lot of the times when I saw his and then I saw something else that really appealed to me, either because of the color or what it looked like, I went with something else. But in my mind, I always wanted to make one of his patterns at some point. So when the mystery cow came along, I said, I need to do it. I love the fact that I haven't seen it. That means I haven't seen his color choices. I haven't seen what it looks like. So I can pick my own and I can decide, and I can go without having any idea of what this looks like. And for some people that may be scary. For me, it was liberating and it was like so exciting. So I loved it. Let's talk about a few of the sections. So this is a short row section at the very beginning. You start with this. You start with this at the top, and then you go with the short rows. So if you remember, I did a Suri. So this is Suri alpaca. So my kind of off-white color is called ceramic and it's from Sorella, and it is a Suri alpaca. So it is, you know, once you block it, then you're going to be able to see the colors. But even then, it's not going to be super intense because the Suri is fluffy. So it kind of calms everything. As not that I forgot completely, but I am a bit allergic to alpaca. Thank goodness it's not on my skin. I know that I was watching Inga one time, and I think she says she might be a little allergic, and it kind of itches her skin, and her skin gets like red or something. That doesn't happen to me, but it's the other, like my throat gets itchy, my nose gets itchy, my eyes get itchy, but it's mostly when I'm working with it. I think I'll be okay when I'm wearing it, mostly because when you're working with it, there's like fluff flying, and there's a lot more manipulation of the alpaca, and I think that might make it worse, but I'm still gonna wear this no matter what. Then you went to kind of like this V's, I think he called them, where you got to use other colors. Then you went to the I-cord loops, which at the beginning I was like, I don't know where he's gone with this, because I think that's where you left off in the first clue. The I-cord loops is the end of clue 1. So this is 1. This is section 2, section 3, and then I-cord loops is section 4. And definitely, I was like, I don't know. But the whole time I was doing it, for me, it was just kind of like what Steven says, say yes, don't stress. And I went in with this 100% okay, that if I didn't love it, I could just give it away. Or I can just embrace it as an art piece and wear it happily, thinking, yeah, it is crazy, but it's gonna be okay. And that's kind of how I went, and I loved every minute of it. The end was brutal. The border was long, and by that point I just wanted to be done, because I had worked for so long in it. I'm just like, I just wanted to be over. I want to be done. Then clue 2 had the slip stitch columns right here, as you can see. So you do slip stitches, and you use 2 colors for this. It looks like more colors because one of this kind of off-white, let me show you, it has kind of like speckles variegated. It's this one, and this one was fun to use actually, because I like the little bit of that tiny bit of green teal that came through. But also pinks and you know, off-white that made it really pretty. So it was a fun one. And then you have the welts, which were so much fun to make. I had seen one of he has welts in other of his designs, like the Penguono has some welts on it, which I was like, okay, that's different. But then making them were also very, very fun. Then you go to the triangles, I think they're called. Yeah, the triangles. And they're not upside down. They're triangles right there. You can see. And then you go into baubles, which was a different way of making baubles. I don't mind making baubles. I made many things with baubles, and I don't mind it whatsoever. This ones were even better. This is almost like an I-cord. It's a tiny I-cord, and then you make it into a bubble, so you don't have to turn, so you're not flipping over and over, which was great. That was so good. I love those bubbles. Then the last part of our clue 2 were these short rows. So how do I show this? Here, these short rows. And even though and then you have it, you don't do it in the middle, and then you do it on this side. Woo! So you have the short rows and the 2 ends. And those ones took a while, but they were easy enough that, and you had 2 colors here. It's kind of hard to tell because it's not blocked, but it had a light purple or lilac, and then that variegated color. So this color, which is from Sewrella, and this one doesn't have a name because it was from the Oopsie sale that they do like once a year, and don't have names. So this 2 together made really pretty, I think, short rows. And those ones were fun because you were making them smaller and smaller each time, so it kind of felt, it took a while, but it wasn't terrible. So then we have clue 3, and brioche happened. So this is this section. Let me show you. And this one is a 2-color brioche, and I'm so happy with it. First of all, that was my first time with brioche. I knew that at one point I was gonna encounter it. I wasn't afraid of it. I've heard it was difficult, but I figured, it'll be okay. Once I get to it, I'm sure I'll learn it and it'll be fine. But I never looked for a pattern with brioche. It was mostly like, I'm like, well, if at one point in my knitting adventures I find something with brioche, I'll learn it. I never looked for something with brioche, so I was kind of hoping that he would, just because then I would experience it. And this is 2-color brioche, which means is that in this side you have the off-white as the main color, but then if you turn it, that kind of pink antique rose color, which is called Studio, which is also from Sewrella. Okay, so I had almost 50 grams. I think one of them was 50 grams, and then leftover, and the other ones were right under 50 grams. So I have enough to make other things, which is great. So that's Studio, and that combined with that Surrey alpaca gave you this beautiful, I love the colors of that. And then after that, so that took a while because it is brioche, so you're technically knitting each row twice with one color, and then you do it again with the other color, and then you turn, and then you do it twice again. So it is really fun. I loved the way he explained it. For a first time brioche experience, I think watching his video, so if you've never done brioche but you're interested, or if you're stuck on brioche and you don't really understand how it works or what it looks like, go to clue 3, and I think he has timestamps, so you can go to like the section, I believe it was section 10. You can go to section 10 brioche, and he will go through the section. And what I loved about it is that he explained, he did a really well, his videos are amazing, but he did a good job explaining what the stitch looks like and the structure of the stitch. I think as you get better at knitting and you start understanding how the structure of a stitch is, the better it is to fix mistakes, the better it is and easier it is to notice when you've made a mistake. So I was doing the brioche and we were traveling somewhere. To the mountains. We went, that's the other thing we did this past month. We went up to the mountains to look at the leaves. And I probably showed you some of that at the beginning of this video. And that was beautiful. Well, I was driving up there, and yeah, I can't look down too much because I get car sick, but not as much as when I was a kid. I've gotten better. But so I was looking down, and when I came home, I noticed that I had dropped a stitch. Well, the way that Stephen explained it made so much sense that I was like, well, that's not a problem. So I was able to pick it up, and it magic. It went back to normal. Then as I was working some more here at home, I noticed that I had dropped maybe 1 or 2, or something had happened. I can't remember what it was. when I came back, I just dropped the stitches and I reknitted them up to it. So, and I mean, for somebody who had never done brioche, I am not anything amazing. It was his video that really helped me understand what that it's supposed to look like. What are you looking for when you're picking up that stitch to fix? What does it need to be? What do you need to have? And it was great. And then the last part of that clue 3 were these crisscross, which you can't see them so well now because it's not blocked. So these ones were great. If you haven't gone to this part, I do have a tip. Laura had told me that she did it too tightly. So I did try to not make it too tight, but it's impossible because you're wrapping it around, and even if you try not to wrap it too tight, it will tighten on its own. So what I did is that when I finished and I had to go and like pick up all those stitches so I can purl them or knit them, I think you knit them, well, you know, and then cross them, I used a smaller needle. So I changed the needle on my left hand. So then, and I went down like 2 needle sizes, and I think I went to a 2.75, and I think this is a 3.25. Yeah, I think I went down 2 sizes, and like that, 2 or 3, whatever, but like much smaller. So then you have the space and wiggle room to move them. So it was much easier to slide them, and I didn't have a problem. So that was really, really helpful. So if you need it, then that's a tip. Then we have the last one. So then clue 4 that came out last Friday. It is the border, which is the stripes. And here you can choose which color in the order of the colors. It didn't matter. It was up to you. And I chose to use all the colors, and I love it. I love the look of it. It was just so long. And even though it didn't matter how long it took because it's not a race. I just wanted to be done. I wanted it to be over so I could kind of get it out of my mind and I could move on to a lot of other things. I did knit things, as you can see. I finished things in between the weeks. I did another mystery knit along. I finished socks, hat, but still, like knowing that I still have that there, I wanted to be done with it before the end of the month, or not the month but like at the end, like I just wanted to be done. I didn't want to have a whip forever sitting in there, especially because it wasn't hard. It was just something that you had to kind of like pay a little bit of attention. It's not hard as garter stitch, but still. Speaking of not being a race, it's not a race, but with some friends, there were 5 of us in a little podcaster group that a friend of mine started. She decided, well, might as well all of us talk about the shellography. We were all doing it. We were all talking to each other anyway, separate chats. So she put together one. I'm not gonna say who, but if you watched all our podcasts, I think you would guess who it is and like who were part of this group. And that was super fun because it was encouraging each other. We were showing each other like how far we were going, and then most of us are all in different countries. So we're in different time zones. One of them was in the future, like really in the future, like Australia future. But we all have responsibilities. We are all busy. We have jobs. Most of them are moms. We have things to do. So it kind of became this thing of like, oh, I finished section 1. Oh, I finished section 3. Oh, I finished clue 1. Not to toot my own horn, but I won. the not race. We called it the not race because we were not racing, but then we were kind of like showing like what we were finishing, and then we were kind of like trying to see who could like get to the next section, even though it's not a race. So we call it the not race, and it was so much fun. But I did finish first, and so that the fact that I really wanted this to be over Not because I don't love it and I didn't love knitting with it, but I just wanted to be done with the shawl. And also, I just wanted to be the first one done so we could, you know, everyone could relax too. Because, like, by this point, we're all kind of trying, but not. It's like, let me just be done. And the knot race can be over. And it's over. It was great. It was so much fun. And here's the shellography. I've talked enough about it. I think that's probably the last time that you hear me talk so much about it, because that is a lot, but it's also so beautiful and I can't wait. So now today I will block it. I will make sure that it's all blocked, and oh, the colors are beautiful. I love my choices of color. And will I do this again next year? Absolutely. I'm gonna do this again next year. Will I do this pattern again? So that's a good question. I probably wouldn't. And here's the reason why. One, it's a lot of work. Like, so much work. And there's so many patterns out there that I want to make. Second, I think, for me, this is personal. In my wardrobe, there's only so much space for a Stephen West pattern. And I can't imagine my wardrobe needing 2 shellographies. Now, I know plenty of people who make almost all his patterns and they're happy with that, and that's totally great. But in my wardrobe, that's just is not something that I need or want. So one of them, it's plenty. And now, don't say never, because you never know. Who knows? I guess if like a family member really was dying to have one, then I can see myself maybe knitting one, but then I wouldn't do it very fast. I would just kind of take my time with it, because it is a time-consuming pattern. So those were all my, let me check. Yeah, so those were all my finished objects. There's 6 of them. You know, some of them were socks and hats and accessories. Most of them were accessories that I did not have time to make a whole lot more. And I also realized I forgot to tell you that I am wearing my Maya today, my Maya cardigan. I talked about this, I don't know, a few episodes back, and I absolutely love this one. I actually been wearing it nonstop. It is warm, it is nice. I still haven't put buttons, but then I love a good cardigan. I love being able to take it on and off, because I live in the United States. Here we have heating, like central heating in all the houses and in all the stores. You have heating in your car. Though my house, it is colder than most. So when I'm cold in the house, I'll just put it on. But I like the fact that I can just put it on and off, and it's really quick, and it goes with so many of my outfits. I just love it. I love it. So let's move on to whips. I have no idea how long I talked, but the first whip, I talked to Anina. So this is from Anina, from Ani Yuti Knits. And my beautiful friend Anina, she's Finnish. I cannot pronounce some of the things she says because it is a hard language, but I am test knitting a pair of socks for her. And these are the okay, I asked her how to say it, and I was kind of saying it, and now I can't. Kusihula? I can't say it. Socks, but I'll just show it to you. This one, I finished one, and this is the first one. It is another colorword sock, and I love it. So when she was working on this, I just couldn't wait for the test knit to come. Of course, my friends come out with gorgeous test knits during shellography, so I had to like choose or like stop shellography sometimes and do some. This one I couldn't start until after the shellography was over, because I was also working, and this one was a little longer deadline, and I was working on Laura's test knits, and those ones were a shorter test deadline, so I wanted to get those done for her. And there's this one, and I love it. Now, because it is color work, it is a little bit wider, and she tells you there's an option that you don't have to add extra stitches if you don't want to. I wanted to see how it fit, so I did. And this, I'm making the medium. It's the 72 stitches. on 2.25s. Because, you know, I usually do for myself 64, but on 2.5s. So, and I have tested another pair, the Taitos socks for Anina, and those ones I made in 72s and 2.25s, and they fit really well. So I figured I'm gonna do that, and I'm gonna do them in that size, and it's great. I got gauge. As you can see, you have to have like 4 different colors, but very small amounts of the 3. Like you need just more on the main color. Everything else, it's just a little bit. I'm using Zoe's yarns from Felicity Yarn Studio. The red one and the green ones are a sock set, Christmas sock set that she had. This one is called Christmas Jammies, and the green one is called Christmas Tree. And this one, it's a tweed, kind of like a tweedy base, but it's with cotton tweed. And the other one is well, and it also has nylon, and this one has nylon in it too. So let me show you the colors. Now you recognize this one. It's the one that I use for the mittens and the headband. And this one, it's not in nylon, so I knew that I had to use it as a background color because it can't touch the ground. But up here it will be totally fine. Then here's the contrasting mini. So this one was a 20 gram mini, which will be plenty. I think Anina, she recommends 10 grams at least of each, like the 3 contrasting colors, and I definitely didn't use 10, so you're fine with 10. It'll be plenty, and I have 20 here. So then this is the color. I started the other one, but let's not even, like, this one is not even the 72. I'm still casting on. This is the color, which is beautiful. It is so beautiful. I love it. Let me make sure that I read you everything correctly, and I can show you the tag. This is the tag. No, it doesn't look very pretty anymore. Felicity Yarn Studio. She is Zoe, and it is okay. So actually, it is a superwash 84 superwash wool with 16% cotton, acrylic, and Donegal nep. So I will tell you how they wear. My guess is the acrylic will keep it from dyeing too quickly, but I'll also wear these as inside socks. I'm not gonna put them on with shoes, so I think they'll be fine, and I'll tell you how they wear. And this is the color, like I said, Christmas Jammies. I will link her shop, so then you can, I don't know if she has this color anymore, but because I bought it weeks ago, but you know, I'll show you. And I am housing these beautiful socks and this beautiful bag, which it's kind of cute because it matches. It has like the same colors. I didn't plan it because I ordered this like weeks ago, and I didn't know that I was gonna make it in these colors. I wanted to make these socks, but I didn't know which colors. I had to kind of like put together colorways and things. But and the last color I'm using the Suri alpaca. So if you see any fuzzies, like you can see there's some fuzzies. It is right here, and then at the bottom of the hats, like, you know, the brim of the hat, or the Santa hat. And these are so cute. My throat's totally itching. I've been like grabbing and moving the Suri alpaca so much. And I still have good amount, so it'll go in other projects for sure. And this is an awesome test net. I will let you know when this is actually out. The only modification I guess I made, even though it is a test net, I just did a different heel. I wanted a Io Partridge heel, but her pattern's great. Her patterns are really good. And yeah, this is her sock. I will write the name because no, I can't say it. Especially now that I've been speaking English this whole time, and now I can't remember how she said it. Yeah, I asked her, and she's so sweet. Oh, and I didn't tell you. So this bag is from my friend Jenna Lee from the Knitted Soiree. If you were wondering, yes, it is from her. And this is from her Christmas collection. I believe she still has some, maybe. I'll put down her shop down below. And I don't know when this episode will go up because I do have somewhere to go this afternoon. And I will try to start editing, but I doubt that it'll all be edited by the time that I finish. By the time that I have to go out. So this is beautiful. Oh my gosh, look how pretty that is. And there's candy canes on the top, and then look at this. A red polka dot. Oh, red and white polka dots. It just makes me so happy. So that's how very, very festive. I was watching Christmas movies while I was moving. Yeah, I am that person. So I'm watching Christmas movies while doing it. Let's move on to our next whip. I started this in between like some of the this is a shawl from my grandma, and I haven't, like, seriously, I haven't picked this up. I just want to show you so you know that this is happening, but in all reality, this is like terrible to show. This is all I have. So I started another Spindrift. Is that what it's called? Yeah, Spindrift. This is my third one that I've made. Third. By Helen Stewart. This is a great one skein pattern. I am using another studio color. So this is Sorella, the studio color that is still in the shop. This is still kind of like their fall, and it's gonna be up there until I think the beginning of December. And it's such a pretty antique kind of rose color, pink. This color I love. So it is from my grandma, and I need to hurry up and make it so I can send it to her. And I need to figure out what can I make my grandpa. And because I don't want to send a whole shawl and then my grandpa doesn't get anything. So this one's super quick. I just haven't touched it since I think I did this one between week 1 and 2. And then of the shellography, and then I haven't picked it up. But now the shellography is over. I finished Laura's test knits. I'm just working on Anana's test knit. I can move on to other things. I just wanted to show you a little bit of the, I showed you last time I had one mitten done. I started the second one. So let me show you what that looks like. Let me see. Oh gosh, am I dropping everything? Yes. So, oh gosh, disaster. There it is. All the little houses are coming alive. And this is a picot edge, kind of like the one from here. It's done a bit differently. This one has a provisional cast on, and this one's also a cool construction. But Laura wanted to make it very easy and like a person who hasn't, like, beginner friendly, and this was really beginner friendly. This is not hard, but it's a bit different. So really, really fun, and they're gorgeous, and I can't wait because it's starting to get cold. And if you've been to North Carolina, you know it doesn't get as cold as maybe some other states, but okay, it gets cold. It is cold, okay? It's like 40 something degrees right now, and that's cold, and that's cold for me. Just like dying because I'm so cold. Well, not this minute, but I get cold outside, so I need things to keep me warm. I did get some stoppers, and I'll show you those on acquisitions. I got them from that quote-unquote local yarn store. So yeah, I just wanted to show you how much, and I hope I have another mitten by the time that we meet again. I should have another mitten. Whew. I did not touch my chestnut, and I knew, because that one takes so much concentration that between the shellography and then trying to finish things, that one did not get touched. Or my daughter's. Well, my daughter's I started picking up for the border, my daughter's shawl, and but I'm not going to show you that because it's still kind of like all bunched up, picking up stitches from the border. So, and that's like a forever job too. There's so many stitches. It's a big square. Well, you've seen it. So let's move to acquisitions. If you don't enjoy it, you can move on to the next section, which would be podcasts, or the next section, which is books. I do have timestamps. So if you open the show notes, there's going to be show notes of all the things I talk about. It's going to have links, and it's also going to have timestamps to, you can jump around with whatever you need to. Do not let me forget, like you can remind me. Actually, let's do that right now. Before we go, there is one of the winners from my Across the Pond Shawl Cow that I had with my friend Ruth from Ruth Loves to Knit. We hosted that cow this whole summer until the end of September, all the way to the end of September. Feel like life is just gone. Yeah, until the end of September. And I chose 4 winners, and one of them I have not heard back from. So I went ahead, and this one was from Instagram, and I went ahead and I chose another winner. The new winner is Knitting Ashley on Instagram, and I'll put maybe a picture of like her. I did it randomly, and I'll put a thing, and hopefully she contacts me. If not, I'll pick another winner, and we'll keep going like this forever. But so yeah, so I'm guessing your name is Ashley. Please contact me so I can send you your gift, and congratulations. Now let's move on to some acquisitions. Now, some of them, no, I went a bit crazy, and one of them was actually one of them was here last time, and I forgot to bring it out, which is so sad because I was so excited to show you guys. Now, don't mind the box. This came all the way from Chile. This is from a Chilean dyer, and during September, a bunch of Chilean podcasters, they did a knit along. Sorry, something got on my eye. A knit along with that was it was called Cachai el Cal, and it was so you could, like, the whole idea was that you made so you could crochet or knit things that were from Chilean designers, and it was so fun to watch. The whole idea was that I was gonna join and I was gonna make something with these yarns that are dyed from a Chilean dyer. And she also has a few designs. She's also a designer. Her name is Maria Jesus, which is kind of cool because it's my grandma's name. And she dyes beautiful yarn, and she also has a beautiful shawl. I think I mentioned it to you guys before, but if I'm not, I will put a picture here somewhere of the shawl. And it's so I wanted to make her shawl with her yarn. Obviously, I didn't think ahead too much because it took like 3 weeks for it to come. She was dyeing more yarn. I bought it. It took about 3 weeks to get here. And by that point, the cow was over. So, great planning for me. But it doesn't matter because I'm still going to show you the yarn. And I'm still going to show you the beautiful, I'm still going to make it. So, look at these beauties. So this is called, oh my gosh, what's the name of this? She didn't put the name of the colors. It's like candy, maybe? Spicy Candy, yes. Whew, remembered. Spicy Candy from Corralito Yarns. Jesus is the dyer, and it is her yarn. It's beautiful. So this is 100% superwash merino. I think it's just superwash merino. I don't think these ones have nylon, which is fine because it's just going for a shawl. So you hold this with also mohair, and this is her mohair. Now this was a complete indulgence. Like, this was a kind of almost like a gift to myself. because, you know, hand-dyed is not cheap. It came all the way from another country. But I'm supporting a Chilean podcaster, because she's also a podcaster. I will add her YouTube if you speak Spanish, obviously. She doesn't have any English subtitles. She's a designer and a dyer, and I was so happy to be able to support her. And also just, so this color is rose, and let me just show it to you. It is, I hope that the colors come through. It is going to be gorgeous. So the way that you do it is that you hold these two, you hold one of each for the main part of the shawl, then you drop the mohair, and then you keep knitting with this. There's a lacy part, and then you drop this, and there's a ruffle part with just the mohair. It is the Spicy Candy shawl. I don't think I've said that. And I am so excited. So I'm trying to decide when I'm gonna cast this on, because I have like a million other things that I want to do, and so I don't know yet, and I'm kind of just admiring. I still kept them in the box, even though the box is falling apart, but it's okay. To me, this is extremely special. This is from home, you know, and it is. And even though home here, it's here. I love the United States. I will always be Chilean in my heart. And even though I probably will never go back and live there, Chile will always have such a big part of my heart. I am who I am because I grew up there, because my parents are Chilean. So I love my heritage, and being able to enjoy something that came all the way from over there, made by somebody who is from Chile and is Chilean. It's just, it makes my heart happy. So those are Corralito yarns. I will link it. She has Corralito yarns on Instagram. I'll put her Instagram down here too, and she's wonderful. So that one actually came like I think it got here like October 2nd or something like that. So I did have it for the last podcast, but I forgot to show it to you. Then here's the sister of this that came together, because there was no way I could choose. When I first saw this, Jenny had she had made herself a bag way back, and she took a picture of this, and I was like, when are you doing these? Because I need this one. So you can see it is the Nutcracker, and I knew I wanted one. And then when of course she had like 4 designs, I think, that she came out with for the Christmas bag pre-orders, and she came out with 2 that I loved, so I got 2. But I'm gonna make more than 1 pair of socks at a time, so that's gonna go there. And really, you can put a shawl in here, just saying. They're roomy. Oh, and the inside has black polka dots, and they always come with a little tag there and she put some stitch markers, and it is so well made. These are so well made. They don't have a pocket inside or anything, but really they're such a great size. They're perfect. I love her bags. Highly recommend. So now you're ready. Are you ready for the craziness that is about to happen? Okay, so where do I start? Let's start with what I bought at my quote-unquote local yarn shop. She did have these, so I went ahead and got them because they look cute. They're from Coco Knits, and they're the earth tones stitch stoppers, and comes with a bunch of different sizes, and I figured I would try them and see if I like them. So they're all different colors, and they're colored by size, so I think they'll be quite useful, well, unless I lose them. And so I got those, and then I got the yarn for the hat for my daughter. And then I got these because these are not my colors. Like, these are bright, but these are all gonna be socks. So this is 90% superwash merino, 10% nylon, and they're both hedgehog fibers. Which is another dyer from Ireland. So I was so glad that I was able to get things that, you know, without paying the shipping and all, and they were very reasonable price. So this color is Genie, and these are going to become socks for Christmas for family. Like, these are going to be Christmas gifts. I'm not going to say who because if they're watching. And this one's called Fly. So I thought they were fun. Plus my kids helped me. They were there with me, my husband, and my daughter picked this one, and then my youngest son picked this one. And my oldest son was talking to his dad about board games, all the things that we had seen at that board game shop. So he was totally okay with letting his younger siblings choose. So these ones will become Christmas gifts. Then I follow Tracy from Grizzly Knits. I follow her on Instagram, and she also has she has a podcast, which is one of the ones that I was going to mention in a bit. And she lives in Canada, and she also has an Etsy shop of stitch markers. And her pricing of shipping was very reasonable. Probably, I mean, it's a really small package, but very reasonable, because sometimes that's hard, you know, to get something from all the way from Canada, and then you have to pay like so much more to ship. It's like, but she has stitch markers, and I saw this one in her stories, guys. Oh, when I saw it, it was just so beautiful. It's still here because I wanted to show it to you before I put him in. I hope that shows really well. It is like a bird. It's a raven. Yeah, it's called Raven Moon. So it has, and the colors are just gorgeous. So I bought this one, and I loved it so much. And Tracy was so kind. She's like, here, in there I sent you an extra. So this is a Stitch Progress Keeper, and she sent that one to me as a gift. Thank you, Tracy. She is so sweet. So that's for me, and then she sent something for you guys, because that's how sweet she is. This one's so beautiful too. And this one is called Nesting, and I'm trying to. So one of them is a what can I think? There's 3 stitch markers and 1 progress keeper, and it's called Nesting. And it has a bird. Yeah, it has a bird with a nest and eggs, and the colors are beautiful. So this is gonna go to our little tiny giveaway basket, and it's gonna go for one of you guys. I'm not sure when, but it's gonna go in there, and I am so grateful. Like, I was just getting something that I really, really, really loved, that I saw it and I was like, oh, I really want that. And she was so kind to send that to me. So thank you, Tracy. Next, these are Candy Shop yarn. If you remember, I bought the whole set of the Candy Shop yarns for the Lucky Start socks that I made way back whenever, the summer, for summer sock camp. You know, had a star and heart in the heel. Well, I love Deborah, and Deborah also has a podcast with her sister Emily, and that's another one that I was gonna mention. Meanwhile in the castle. But Deborah, she is from Utah, and she had her Christmas colorways, and I really want to make Christmas socks for myself, so I went ahead and got these. I know, so this one's called Spruce, and I think she still has some in her shop. Then I got this is her simple syrup sock set. Everything is named after kind of like candy. And this one is 400 yards, 100 grams, 80%, 80-20. And the mini is a 20-gram mini. And this one's called Peppermint Twist, as you can see. Look at that color. It's gonna be so, like, fun socks. I'm still trying to decide, do I want to make patterns, like pattern socks, or do I just want vanilla socks with the beautiful colors? I haven't decided. And then this one is called Sugar Plum, and it's a very, very subtle pink. It's a bit variegated. You know me, I'm variegated. I like it for socks, and this is what these will become. All of them will become socks. I think I'm definitely gonna I'm gonna like mix. Maybe I'll do toes and heels and heel flaps and gussets. Oh, what did I say? Cuffs and cuff toes and heels. Like I can mix and match all of them. Why can't I talk today? What's wrong? So this one is just beautiful. And then last but not least, I follow Brie, which was another podcast I was going to talk to you about. Brie, she lives here in the States. She lives with her husband and 2 kids. Her mother-in-law has alpacas, I believe. And well, she's a new dyer. She's working on her first design. She's a spinner. And she has a podcast. And she's so nice. So Brie, she's so great. So she has a podcast that is called Doodlebug Yarn. That's what it's called, yeah. Doodlebug Yarn Co. And she, like I said, she is dyeing yarn, and she had this sock set. I'm sorry, this is not a sock set. She had a mini set. I'm trying to show you all the colors, and hopefully you can see all of them, because she had it on, she put it also on Instagram. Oh gosh, such a dangerous place. And I think I'm done buying mostly for this year. I think I'm done. I have plenty of yarn and plenty of projects that I need to work on. And I don't know which one is my favorite. I think probably these 2 are my favorite. These 2. But I do have a plan for this. So Cam, oh my goodness, what's her name? Well, she has Cam. What is her handle? Well, she has a pattern for a cowl that uses that you can use minis for. I think so. So I think that's what I'm making with this. I need to wind these up, because these are obviously beautiful autumn colors, which means I need to hurry up and do this so I can actually enjoy this while it's still autumn. And because Brie, is the sweet person that she is, like I seriously, I fell in love with these, so I went ahead and bought it. The moment she put them up on Instagram, I went ahead and bought them. And she sent me a gift with the things, because she is just so sweet. So she sent these stitch markers, which are so fun. My daughter is eyeing them. I might give them to her, because she is learning to, well, she is knitting, and she really wants to actually learn how to make socks. She knows how to purl and knit, so I think it's time. I think, because she's kind of working on a scarf, but let's be honest, scarves are boring to make, or at least to me. If you like to make scarves, no offense. If you like to make scarves, to me, they're so boring. And you might as well go towards a project that you want to like finish. So my plan is to teach her in December. We take off a lot of it for school. We take off a lot from school. So we take off all of December for school, and we kind of focus on Christ, and we try to focus more on the true meaning of Christmas. We make handmade gifts for family members, and we try to do service projects. We do those that's kind of like our school. And we do book reading. That's kind of what we do for homeschool during December. So that's why we try to work really hard during the year, so we can afford to take December off of like the school part of like the book learning. But there's so much more to learning than just a workbook. And so that's why I take December off with the kids. And I think she wants to, I'm gonna teach her to make socks. And I know my oldest wants to learn to make socks, and he learned to knit too, but he doesn't know how to purl yet. So we'll see how, I mean, yeah, he needs to learn. And so she sent me this, so I think I'm gonna give these to my daughter so she can have some stitch markers for her to have. And then Brie surprised me with this one. It's called Sun Rays. And this is on her 75-25 merino nylon. But she said that she dyed this with, what did she call it? It was like sun dyeing, I think that's what she called it, and it's beautiful. I might have to wait to make some socks like during the spring and summer. This reminds me of like a creamsicle or something beachy. I don't know, but like it reminds me of summer and I love it. So this was a gift, and then the most special gift. I can't. I kind of cried a little when she gave me this. This is some of her hand spun. I am honored that she would send me her hand spun. So this is 100% hand spun. It is a Icelandic merino tweed blend, and it's 333 yards, and it's quite heavy. I haven't weighed, but this is more than 100 grams right here. I don't know yet what I'm gonna make. Look at the beautiful colors. I really hope that you can see it is mostly orangey, but it also has so much more than that. It is beautiful. So Brie does have some things online right now. I'll link her shop and I will link her podcast, because that's actually what we're going to next. So thank you so much, Brie. I already said thank you to you. I said thank you to Tracy, but of course I don't think that there's enough times I can say thank you to really express how thankful I am of their generosity. And I'm really excited to use up all those things. I still don't know what I'm going to do with the hand spun. It's so precious to me that I don't want to touch it. So let's go ahead and talk about the podcast, because we are done. I want to talk and books. I do want to mention books, because otherwise it's never going to happen. It's going to be a long one. That's just the way it is. So the first person that I wanted to mention was Brie, and I already said, so her podcast is Doodlebug Yarn Co, and it's a fun podcast. She just had some a few episodes of spinning that she has. She's working on a alpaca mittens, like fingerless mitts that are beautiful. So hopefully soon she'll actually have she'll call for testers, and hopefully I have time and the yarn that I would need, because I really am done buying yarn. I bought something else, and then my advent that is coming in Nutiden. I did buy Nutiden. So there should be 3 new things that should be coming, but I'm really not planning on buying anything else until at least Christmas. Like maybe if I get Christmas money, then I'll buy something. I don't know, but I'm really not. So let's hope not now, because I mean my stash is not huge, but I have plenty right now to do things, and I have plans that I want to do before Christmas is here. Like I was saying, Brie has some beautiful yarn, and she has a fun podcast. So if you want to go check her out, it is Doodlebug Yarn Co, and I'll put a link down below. The other one is for Tracy, which I told you about, and she's Grizzly Knits, and she is in Canada, and she also is making a shellography, and she makes some beautiful things. She has really pretty colors. They're a bit different than my colors, but she's also very they're very beautiful, and she's very, very nice. So go check out Tracy. Then Heidi May, from the Velvet Acorn. I used to I made several her patterns. I've made hat patterns and sweater patterns from her that my daughter had when she was younger. So if I do a throwback pattern, a throwback project section, when I have time, when I don't have like a million hours already going, I will show you some other things that I've made. But the Velvet Acorn, she is a beautiful designer. Almost every design, especially lately in the past few years, every design that she comes out with a crochet sister, or she starts with a crochet and then she does a knitting sister. I find her, she's amazing, and she started a podcast, and she has, I think, 4 episodes. They're quick episodes, but here's the thing. I knew her, what she looked like from all the pictures, because she's in some of the pictures. I knew her. I've seen her daughters grow up and her son grow up, because like I said, I've been following her for years, like her patterns and her design, since like her youngest was a baby. So I'd never seen her talk because that she doesn't really do stories or anything on Instagram, and so I'd never seen her talk and didn't know her personality. She is the sweetest. She's so fun. And she actually gave some book recommendations, which 2 of them I read and I did enjoy. So that's why I wanted to tell you about it. And she does sometimes recipe recommendations. So that's another one fun to watch. And the other one that I mentioned, it is Deborah and Emily, Meanwhile at the Castle. And they're really fun. They're sisters and they're both dyers. Deborah dies a little bit more often than Emily, and they make lots, and their podcasts are long, but I love it. I just watch them in chunks. So they're both wonderful. I love them. So that was our podcast. Now let's move on to books before this is like extremely long. The first one, it was actually from Heidi May. She talked about this one, and it's called, I read 4 books, like actually read them, and then I listened to one this past month, just last month. I love to read. I absolutely love to read, and if I get into a series or a book that I'm like super into, I obsessively read them because I love being in that world. So there is one series, so I read all 3 of those books because I just finished them. It took me about 2 days, 3 days to read each one, and they're long, but they're not hard to read. They're like 500 pages, but they're easy reads. But the first one is Caraval by Stephanie Garber. I'll put the name on it. And this one is, they're most of them are kind of like fantasy. None of them are historical fiction or anything like that. I like all kinds of books, but fantasy and kind of like light books are kind of what I enjoy. I don't love like pure romance books, mostly because those are too much fluff for me, and I just don't love those like just pure romance books. But Caraval was fun. It had a little bit of a love story in it, but it was overall really interesting. And then the next one that I read is The Girl Who Chased the Moon by Sarah Addison Allen. And that one was an audio. And that one was really fun. It was only like a 6-hour audiobook. So I just listened to it in one day. I was doing things around the house while I listened to it, and I was done. And it was really fun. It was cute. It was more about a love story than I thought it was going to be. There was a little bit of a mystery that you wanted to keep going so you could know what happened. So this was my least favorite out of all the books, mostly because it was a little too fluff for me. But it was okay. It wasn't bad. If you want an easy read and kind of like really chill, there's nothing bad in it. It's sweet. It's a sweet story. Then the last one is the series. So this one, actually, my cousin told me about it a long time ago, but I hadn't read it. And it's The Infernal Devices by Cassandra Clare. Now, don't be scared by the name. It is not evil or demonic or anything. I don't like those kind of books. But it does talk about demons and like vampires and things, but not in a dark way. They're not dark. Like, that is not how these are. These are fun. I would say that this is probably a young adult type book, very easy reads, but not lame. I don't know, like, to me they were really fun. So the first one is Clockwork Angel, then it's Clockwork Prince, and then Clockwork Princess, and they're really, really fun. I love the story. There is a little bit of a love story in it, but it's not the only thing going, and I think that's what I like. Like, I don't mind a love story with it, and it's cute, but it needs to also have another part to it, so then I want to know what happens. Like, I personally don't really enjoy Nicholas Sparks books. I've only read a few, but to me those are not like my kind of genre at all. I do like some historical fiction. I do like biography. I like a little bit of everything, but I can read maybe one Nicholas Sparks book every few years. That's not really, and if that's what you enjoy, that's totally fine. Like, so yeah, so those are kind of like those. I read 5 books, listened to one, read 4 this past month. And Cassandra Clare, she also has the Mortal Instruments series, and I read those years ago. but I don't remember anything. And they are in the same world as the Infernal Devices. Like, they're the same world, but different time periods and different countries. But it's in the same world. And so I think I'm gonna reread them because I haven't read them in so long. I do like rereading books. I like being transformed, like, I mean, not transformed, transported into this world of a completely different world. And thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Hopefully I can record before a month, but you never know. Life is pretty crazy. My guess is that I won't, because my youngest son's birthday is coming up, my husband's birthday is coming up, then Thanksgiving, and we have family in town. So my guess is that I'm not going to be able to record until maybe the beginning of December. But then my brother's coming with his wife and my niece, which I'm so excited about. So I might try to record right in between, because otherwise it'll be too long. Now, I don't know if I'll do Vlogmas, because Vlogmas sounds fun, but also like sounds like so much work. So I don't really know. And also my family is gonna be in town, so I don't know how much vlogging I can do, but I'll think about it. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. I hope you have a wonderful week whenever this is up. Whenever you're watching this, have a wonderful day. I hope that you get to spend it with some people you love, and happy knitting. Bye.